It's the Worst of the Riot podcast. Thanks for joining us. Isaiah, I thought this was cool. I don't know if you ever heard of the Pensacola Blue Wahoos.
Haven't heard of them.
They're a minor league baseball team. They have a stadium that is pretty well regarded because it's right on the coast there, so you can see the ocean, the Gulf from the stadium and whatever. And they have put up their stadium. You can rent it on Airbnb. You could stay the night at the Pensacola Blue Wahoos minor league baseball stadium. It's expensive.
I can only imagine.
I mean, it's worse than you probably think. How much would you pay for that?
Not very much. To stay there?
Yeah.
I'm not paying over, I don't even know. It sounds like a lot. $100 a night.
Not even as much as a regular hotel.
No, I would rather stay at a regular Airbnb than have to go through all of that. Sounds like too much for me. And I'm not someone who, if I'm going to Pensacola, I'm not hanging out at their minor league baseball facility the whole time.
It's one of, I'm going to Pensacola later this year. It's one of the top reviewed things in the city.
See, I'd rather
Which probably doesn't say much about the city,
that's
actually.
What I'm thinking. Isn't Pensacola on the beach?
Yeah.
I would just want to be at the beach the whole time.
Yeah. And you don't even like the sand. The Airbnb to stay at the Pensacola Blue Wahoos minor league baseball stadium overnight, $5,000.
Not worth it.
You'd have to split that a lot of ways before it really worked out. But, there's a lot on Airbnb now. There's so many different, odd places you could stay the night. And so I'm thinking, Isaiah, if you could turn anything into an Airbnb and stay there, what would it be?
It's a good question. I've always thought that the treehouse ones. Since I was a little kid.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
The fancy tree houses. There's some not so far from us that I've considered.
You stayed in?
Although I've considered, but they are surprisingly expensive.
Oh, I can imagine they are.
Yeah.
But if I was going to do a weird Airbnb, that one would seem cool.
That sounds like a cool one.
Yeah.
Do the castles interest you? Those are popular.
Not so much.
What if it's a romantic getaway?
I would rather have one of those cool ones where I'm in the woods.
Yeah.
And I have a little pool connected to it. I don't know. There's a bunch of cool ones that you see on TikTok and whatnot online.
Yeah.
That I would prefer over a castle look.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind.
There you go. If you're going to rent one for me.
Yeah. For me, this sounds fun, right? Because it's just unusual. And I bet you get a great night of sleep. What about the interior of a dam?
Interesting thought.
If you could stay the night in the Hoover Dam, think about how dark it would be. Pitch black. You could have it. That sounds fun. You get
the water trickling?
A good night. Yeah, that's right. I wonder what the sound you would hear in there would be. I think that would be cool. What else? What else would be what if you could stay on the top of a skyscraper? Actually.
Oh, you mean a penthouse?
No, but outside, under the stars of a skyscraper.
Oh, you're saying a penthouse rooftop vibe, maybe?
Yeah, rooftop. Yeah. At the very top of a very tall building.
I'm with that.
Would be another idea, although I don't know. I might be a little scared.
How do you feel about the whole cave thing?
Cave. That seems like you'd get a good night of sleep restful because it'd be so dark down there.
See, but I always think cave, I think
Snakes.
bugs. And so it's kind of a...
Fish.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Damp. Yeah, I don't know. I think that could be cool.
I think it could be.
Depends
if you're
on
right
how the accommodations inside the cave are. I don't know if I have any others. What about how about this? People do this turn them into houses, old missile silos.
Missile silos?
Yeah.
I've seen the container houses.
Yeah.
I've never seen the missile silo houses.
Once again, you go deep underground, you're going to get a good night of sleep because it's going to be so calm down there. So I think if you want a good night of sleep, those are some good options. If you want to have a fun time, why Airbnb is less interesting. Just have a night out. Just go do stuff.
I agree.
Yeah.
I always think wherever you're staying, it doesn't matter. Because if wherever you're going, you're going to spend more time outside of the Airbnb, more time outside of the hotel room than you do at it anyway.
Yeah.
Whenever I go anywhere, if I'm doing a trip with some of my friends, I'll go as cheap as you want to go.
Yeah.
Because I plan on only sleeping there. And so when I get back into the room, I'm immediately going to bed. When I wake up in the morning, I'm immediately leaving the room. I'm not hanging out there all day.
I'm mostly with you. As long as it's clean, the bed is nice. I don't even really need a good TV.
No, I'm not gonna turn it on.
Yeah.
I've stayed at some janky places, some absolutely ridiculous places, because I knew that by the time I got back and I was tired, I wouldn't care anyway.
Yeah.
I would just lay down in that bed, in that nasty hotel bed.
Yeah. After a fun night, who cares how many needles are underneath that mattress?
Oh, no, that's too much for me.
Worst of the Riot podcast. We'll catch you next time.
The only thing Isaiah loves more than the riot is himself.
Someone who probably still lives with his mother and hates himself.
You're listening to The Riot on Radio U.
Now, a new study is saying that that paper straws maybe aren't the answer that we want them to be.
Those soggy little straws?
Yeah. Now, many people have already have criticized those paper straws just for being ineffective all this time, right? Not a viable replacement just because they're not as functional. Well, now it turns out not only are they not as functional, they may be just as bad for the environment, if not worse, than the standard plastic straw. A new study here I have says that paper straws are linked to the presence of forever chemicals. You ever heard about forever chemicals?
I've heard of it.
Yeah, it's something I don't really understand. It's like microplastics. It's one of
Never
those
goes
things
away or something.
that may very well be real and killing me, or it could just be something that somebody made up, and I have no idea, and I don't know how I could tell the difference. But apparently, paper straws have forever chemicals, which are compounds that can persist for thousands of years and are linked to cancer, thyroid, and liver issues. So there you have it. And not only when you have a paper straw are you putting that into your body, apparently, but you're also, when you discard your paper straw, putting that into the environment. And so you may, instead of your plastic straw, right, could get stuck in a sea turtle's nose, but your paper straw could give a sea turtle thyroid disease.
Now listen, I don't want to sound insensitive. I do not get the straw turtle thing. How in the world is a turtle? Think about how many turtles you've seen in your entire life.
Not very many.
How in the world is a turtle that's floating in the ocean getting a straw stuck in their eye? How is it even possible? Think about how a straw floats in the water.
Yeah.
How could that possibly stab an animal?
You've never had,
no,
when you're swimming and you kind of have stuff go up your nose?
Maybe I saw it. Yet again, if I lived in the ocean my entire life, how many straws would I run into?
It depends on on how clean the beach is. You ever been down to the Caribbean and the not good areas? It's dirty.
I'm just saying, I think that there's an issue with it, but I just I've never gotten the whole turtle thing. Are we gonna what is next?
Well, what about you do this? You ever get the Coke cans or whatever, or the bottles, and they have those rubber rings holding them all together?
Yes.
You chop those all up before you throw them away?
I don't.
So not only are you giving sea turtles straws up their noses, you're giving pelicans those rings to get stuck around their necks.
I'm not saying that it's not wrong. I just have always been confused by it. I just don't understand how turtles specifically, no other animals.
Well,
turtles specifically just keep on running into straws and getting them in their nose.
We have video of turtles with straws getting pulled out of their nose.
How many turtles
rescued?
How is this happening over and over again?
Well, if you have video of one, that's probably representative of thousands.
Must
that
be.
We never caught on video.
I've always been confused by it.
So you think?
I think it's just crazy.
So you think plastic straws are good for the environment?
No, I'm not saying they're good for the environment. But I'm not saying that I'm willing to use a paper straw.
No, I've never been. I'm just anti-straw. I think they're a sign of weakness. But I also think that paper straws, I understand why people don't like them because they do suck and not in the way that they're intended to.
So just buy a metal one.
Metal's fine.
Just carry
I
it around your
understand
pocket
it
with
doesn't
ya.
have the same mouthfeel, or just put like a coffee lid on and just sip it. You can sip and not spill.
Or you just use a plastic straw.
Yeah.
Whatever you want.
Yeah.
Your choice.
They're all bad.
Yeah.
We're not sure who behaves worse, the Riot or their dogs.
I don't even know how to behave like a real human being.
The Riot, Radio U.
Have you seen this? It's actually been taken down off of TikTok, I guess, because it got too popular, too controversial. The couple that wrote up a long-distance relationship contract. It is, it got over 1.8 million views before they decided to take it down because, I don't know, I guess their notifications were just popping off. But we have a guy and a gal here. They're in a long-distance relationship. And let me share with you some of the notes, some of the stipulations in this contract that they both signed. See what you make of it. Violation. Well, first of all, by signing the agreement, you acknowledge the following terms. Neither party is allowed to end the relationship until September 1st, 2024, unless there's a breach of one of the violations listed below.
September 1st of next year. Okay,
Yeah,
got it.
uh-huh.
So 1 year.
Yep, you got 1 year. Violation 16, cheating. Violation 17, slander against either party, including in this contract. And that includes complaining about the relationship, speaking poorly about your partner, etc. Violation 18, neglect of participating parties' emotional or physical state. How can that be proven?
That seems kind of objective there.
Yeah. It says in the contract, all issues with the opposing party are required to be brought to the attention of the party in question. Arguments must result in a resolution, apology, and closing action of affection. And long distance will require a gift of some sort to be ordered to each party's house to put an end.
They must not argue much.
I guess not.
Because that would be a lot of gifts.
This is a tough one for some people. Location must always be turned on. Every call seen must be answered. They must call at least once a day. Keep in continuous contact throughout the day. Always give extra reassurance. And it goes on. And people are divided about whether this is amazing or psycho. What do you've been in a long-term or a long-distance relationship, haven't you?
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever do something like this?
Did I ever get a contract?
No, I mean, if you did, you probably would have gone viral. I mean, would you, though?
I would never go to this length of signing a form or anything.
Uh-huh.
This seems extra to me, but that might just be how their couple is.
Seems like
how their duo is. But I don't see anything wrong with what they did. Seems fine to me. I'm unbothered by it. I think it's a little bit extra.
Yeah.
This all seems pretty self-explanatory of a long-distance relationship anyway.
Yeah.
Everything they said, it's not like they're saying anything crazy.
No, nothing is too egregious, but it does, it just depends on how often you want to keep in touch, what your level of talking to each other is.
Usually, if you're living far apart,
yeah,
you think talking once a day is pretty...
That's standard.
That's pretty typical.
Yeah. But to have it all written out as if you breach that, if you miss a day, then that could be... Then you have to go through the next legal avenue.
Which is the end of the relationship.
Which means sending the other one a gift because you don't talk to them one day. It sounds like that's kind of tough. It just feels like a lot. So if you're in a long distance relationship and the gal brings this to you, are you signing?
It's fine with me.
That's fine with you?
Because I know it doesn't actually mean anything. What does this mean? What happens? If I slander you, then what? You break up with me. Oh, no. If I slandered you...
As if that wouldn't happen anyway.
Exactly. Whether I sign that contract or not, if I neglect the participating party's emotional or physical state, whether I sign that thing or not, it should be the same result. I guess you're breaking up with me. So if you want me to sign this thing, we can sign it.
It's also been pointed out that it's not notarized, so it's not legally binding anyways.
And if I want to break up with you before September 1st of next year, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to do it anyway.
Yeah. add a little riot to your Instagram feed. Follow at RadioU Official. The Riot. Radio U.
Isaiah, how early is too early to start putting together a birthday list?
I think when you're a little bit over a month out.
That's when it's fine.
Yeah, once you close in on that month spot, in between 1 and 2 months, I think you're good.
Oh, so I'm good then right now if I wanted to start.
You are good to go.
Because you know when my birthday is.
It is coming up.
It's coming up.
It's coming up fast.
About a month and a half from now.
Just about so.
Almost precisely.
Yep. And to the day almost.
I did get a little bit of flack from my wife because I was scrolling through stuff yesterday, starting to pick stuff out. And she's like, doesn't it feel a little early? And I was like, I don't know. I don't want to be caught flat-footed when my birthday rolls around and people start asking me for a list, as they inevitably do.
That's what happens.
Yeah. I don't want, when Isaiah asks me a week from now, hey, isn't your birthday coming up? What would you like me to get you? I don't want to say to Isaiah, I have no idea. I haven't looked. So I have a list here that I've been working on. And do you ever feel this, Isaiah? Do you ever feel like when you're putting together a list or like scrolling through? Because I hear you doing this in the mornings a lot. You're scrolling through different clothes, jackets, and shoes and stuff. That's what I'm looking at.
Mm-hmm.
You think you're happier when you're looking through, scrolling through, trying to decide what you want than when you actually get?
It might be.
Yeah.
It does feel good to shop.
Yeah.
And to like figure out if you're going to like it or not.
Mm-hmm.
Have all the different options. It's like endless opportunity. Yep. You know?
It is. The endless opportunity and the idea of having, again, for me, it's so often clothes. The idea of having these clothes is better than actually wearing them, especially after the first time you wear it. Then it's just old news.
That's true. And because you never know how good it's going to look on you.
That's right.
When you're looking at it, you're like, man, this is going to look so good on me.
Yep.
And sometimes you get it and you're like, this doesn't look as good. But when you're looking at it, that's when you feel like you're going to look the best.
Yeah. I definitely have some shirts that are like, oh, I'm going to look awesome in this. And then I get it and I look like a Burger King employee or something.
Yep.
Yeah. Just sorry, Burger King employees, but it's just not the same. And I think that it's so often that we get these pictures in our mind of like, oh, this thing is going to make me happy. This is going to make me, I'm just going to love this. I love how. And then it just never quite, especially again, after you have it for a few days, it never quite lives up to what you hope it will be. And it doesn't mean it's not a good product. It doesn't mean it's not something great to have, but it just doesn't fill that niche that you're looking for. We can chase so many things. We can have so many things that we have our eye on, more money, more possessions, whatever. And then I guess what you really realize is, what I've realized is, as happy as you think those things will make you, and they can make you a little bit happy, what really winds up happening is you realize they can't love you back. So there's a part of you that just cannot be fulfilled by all the money and all the stuff in the world. They can only be fulfilled by a few things, like a really happy relationship with somebody, your family, friends, and Jesus. Like there's that one spot that only Jesus can fill, because he will love you back. He will fulfill you and give you peace in a way that nothing else can, that nobody else can. And so if you feel like you're rushing around searching for that, that's where to find it. And you can find it right now. Say, hey, God, I'm ready for that. I feel like there's just something else I need in life, and I think it might be you. So start talking to him. Let him talk to you and go from there. If you want to know more, RadioU.com/free gift.
We're not sure who behaves worse, the Riot or their dogs.
I don't even know how to behave like a real human being.
The Riot, Radio U.
Now, Isaiah, you've got a pretty mischievous dog.
He is.
Jim the Basset Hound. He gets into some trouble. Has he ever eaten anything he shouldn't have?
Many a times.
Has he ever eaten so much of something that he needed surgery to remove it?
Not yet, thankfully. I keep a close eye on him.
Yeah, but give him time.
And I have a small house, so he's easy to keep track of. I never lose him.
Yeah. But maybe one day. Hopefully not, but you just never know with Jim. I'll tell you that I have a dog here that has just taken over the news in China because it ate 11 rubber ducks that had to be surgically removed.
11?
11 rubber ducks.
Who even owns 11 rubber ducks? You know?
Yeah. It's a good question, although I don't know if you've seen some people. For some people, if you look in their car on their dashboard, they have a lot of, like, I actually have a family member that has at least 11 rubber ducks on their dashboard of their car. I thought it was kind of a Jeep thing, but they don't even have a Jeep, so I don't know. I think it's just a thing people do. However, I don't think that this French bulldog stole the rubber ducks from the dashboard of a vehicle.
That'd be pretty obvious.
Yeah. Yeah, if it was sitting right next to you in the passenger seat and it just starts chowing down on the windshield rubber ducks. But that was not it. But somehow this dog did get a hold of 11 rubber ducks. It is a fair question to ask how it got so many. And here's another thing. I've got pictures here of the rubber ducks after they're removed. They're all like intact. It wasn't like it chowed them down.
Swallowed them whole.
Yeah, it just swallowed them whole. This French bulldog. Fortunately, it lived to tell the tale, but 11 rubber ducks. That's pretty rough. So your dog, what would you say is the worst thing Jim ever ate?
Hard to say. I mean, he's eaten a lot of weird stuff. He ate a battery once.
That's pretty bad. What'd you do about that?
He threw it up.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to think of other things he's eaten. He's eaten a lot of food that's bad for him.
Uh-huh.
I mean, obviously, one time he ate like a giant chocolate bar, like one of those big Hershey chocolate bars.
Uh-huh.
Didn't throw that up, but he was okay because he's big enough to where it didn't affect him.
Uh-huh.
He's eaten like hot chicken takeover, like a full breast of that before. Obviously,
can you blame
stolen.
him? Yeah.
And a myriad of other things.
Well, I want to hear, because I mean, it's just if you have a dog, it's probably done something like this. Hopefully not 11 rubber ducks, but I want to hear what other people's dogs have eaten. 8772 RadioU. You could even text in the Riot hotline if you want.
8772 RadioU.
And let us know the craziest thing your dog has eaten, or if you've got another pet that's eaten something crazy. I'd love to hear about that too. 8772 RadioU. We'll see what people are saying coming up next.
Find more Riot content online. Riot.radiou.com.
Question is, what is the wildest, weirdest thing your dog has ever eaten? This is after a dog in China, a French bulldog, ate 11 rubber ducks, seemingly swallowed them whole, and then had to have them surgically removed because you can't digest nobody could digest 11 entire rubber ducks.
Yeah, no chance.
All at once. So getting some good texts in here. Lisa says her dog ate cinnamon rolls in a plastic bag whole. So bag included, I guess. And this is even worse. 6 feet of bubble tape gum.
Ooh.
What is the end result of that?
A sticky mouth?
Yeah, I guess so. Once you, the fun never stops with that. What about Taylor? Taylor says their dog has eaten 2 entire loaves of bread.
That's just like a lot of bread. That's like a lot of food.
Yeah. That's just, can you imagine yourself, a grown human, eating 2 entire loaves of bread?
No.
No, I
feel like the dog would have had to like throw up just from eating so much.
Yeah.
But who knows? It could have been a big dog.
Yeah. Michaela and Finley both texted in on this one that their dog eats socks, which, that feels like a common one, right?
Jim's always running around with my socks, but he doesn't eat them. He just kind of like runs around with them.
Oh, yeah. Just a little game he likes to play.
It's called Keep Away, and I hate it.
Michaela said she's particularly worried because they're about to have a baby. And so then that's even more socks in the equation.
And smaller socks, easier to eat.
That's right. But hopefully, I mean, at least while it's still a baby, it's probably not just discarding its socks, right? Do babies even need socks?
No.
Another question.
Maybe their toes are going to get cold.
I guess so. Yeah, that's true. They're not really, that's their main purpose, I would say. Oh no. I have a dog here, a corgi, that ate 5 tea bags.
It just sounds gross.
Yeah, why would you do that?
I don't know.
That's the one thing about dogs I don't get is like, don't they ever eat stuff and they, and they realize, this is disgusting. But no, they keep going.
One time when Jim was a puppy, this one he was probably like 10 pounds. He was tiny.
Yeah.
He ate a quarter, which doesn't seem like a big deal, but it is because he was so little at the time.
Yeah.
And so I had to make him throw up. Which was terrible. I had wood floor at the time, which was perfect because he could just throw up on that. Easy cleanup. He threw up all over this nice new white bed that he had. Of course, none of the puke made it on the floor. All over his bed.
Of course.
So I just had to throw it away.
For me, I think the craziest thing is the fear the dog has eaten. She, first of all, very on brand for me. She has eaten a couple of my hats in the past.
Yes.
Now, this is years ago. No longer does she really chow down on anything she's not supposed to. But the other thing was, and again, I don't know if I feel like just because of the sheer destruction she caused, she must have eaten some of this, and that's carpet.
Yeah.
Because she tore up, she used to have real bad separation anxiety, tore up the carpet, and there's just so much gone that she had to have eaten it. And that couldn't have tasted good.
No, that had to be terrible.
Yeah. Well, it's amazing that the dogs can survive the stupidity eating rubber ducks and carpet. Where'd they be without us?
Disinformation, mispronunciations, bad impressions. That's Hudson. This is The Riot on Radio U.
Isaiah, it's time for our Monday tradition. It's the box office breakdown. Taking a look at what made money and what didn't in movie theaters over the weekend. And I'll tell you that the number one movie in America is Gran Turismo.
Just barely got the win, huh?
It squeaked it out. It was just barely able to edge past Barbie to sit atop the box office this weekend, making about $17.5 million. That doesn't feel like a lot, does it?
Feels like a little.
Feels pretty paltry, but that was good enough to be number one at the box office this weekend. Just a week at the box office, with Gran Turismo pulling in 17 mil, coming in at number one. Barbie pulled in $17.1 million, still hanging out at number two. So, I mean, obviously, Barbie's still, at this juncture, it's been out in theaters for 6 weeks now. It's still making $17 million. That's pretty good. Blue Beetle was number three, another $12 million. Then Oppenheimer, then Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which I do mean to see. Both that and Oppenheimer, I need to catch up. Let's cut to the chase, Isaiah. Did you watch anything this weekend?
I watched American Horror Story.
Oh yeah,
last night.
Which one? Like the newest season?
No, I'm watching Apocalypse right now.
Okay,
it was very good.
Very good.
I'm like 6 episodes in, I think. It's just starting to really get going. So that was like it, though. I was at like a festival all weekend, so I didn't watch much TV at all.
That's all right.
What about you?
You know what? Probably the most interesting thing that I've watched as of late, and I mentioned this last week, but I'd only seen like an episode now. I finished it, and that is me and my wife were watching Down for Love on Netflix, which is a show about people with Down syndrome dating, and it also takes place in New Zealand, so the subtitles are very necessary. And I'll tell you what, though, entertaining, real sweet, real cute. Surprising for how many people, like, they're pairing them up, right, with other people that, I guess what would you put it, like neurodivergent? Surprising how many just don't work out. You know,
they aren't really into each other?
Yeah, for a feel-good show, I just expect, I mean, some people, there is one couple they stick with, they get together in the first episode, I think, and then they're just together the whole time. But there's others that go through multiple dates, and it just does not work out for them.
Well, you got to wait till the right one.
You do. You deserve to pick somebody who, to match up with somebody who you really like. So they have high standards, and I'm fine with that. It's just not what I was expecting, you know? I guess they just didn't want to cut out the failed dates.
Yeah.
But it is funny, though, actually. This is something I thought about. It's funny how these people in the show, the date seems to be going well, but then they'll do the thing where they're interviewing them and they're just like, yeah, I just don't really think she's girlfriend material. But they're not acting like that at all during the date. You know, they're like,
I can relate to that.
Yeah.
I feel like I went on a lot of dates where I was like, it went really well. And one person probably thinks it went really well.
Yeah.
And then the other one's like, nah.
Not girlfriend material?
Not for me.
Yeah. So it's worth a watch. It's entertaining for sure. Only 5 episodes. It's a good time.
Find more Riot content online. Riot.radiou.com.
Special guest joining us this morning for Sports Fight. We've talked NayNay into waking up early because this sports fight revolves in part around your very own Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, does it now?
We got some big news over the weekend that the Dallas Cowboys traded with the San Francisco 49ers to acquire quarterback Trey Lance. Trey Lance, of course, a few years ago was the number 3 overall pick in the draft. Barely played for the 49ers, and now you got him.
Well, first of all, before I give my take, I would like to thank both of you for having me on the show. Welcome to the American public. Thank you so much for having me. But now let's get in to the real juicy details of this. I bet you might be surprised to hear I like this move. I think this move from Trey Lance to the Dallas Cowboys for a 4th-round pick was not only a steal, but this is exactly what the team needed. I think this is not only what the team needed, I think the organization needed this, but most importantly, Dak Prescott. I'm going to tell you why. Let's rewind back to Friday where I was getting texts and calls from every person known to man saying, what do you think about this, NayNay? We want to hear your reaction. We want to hear every single thing that you got to say about this. Does this mean that Dak Prescott is done? I think this is going to elevate Dak Prescott's game because, hear me out when I say this move was for next season, not this season. This move was for next season, not this season. Dak Prescott's up for a contract extension the following year. And because of that, this is going to elevate his game because there's someone looking behind him saying, hey, if you mess up, I'm coming in. So that is where we're going to be sitting at. If he screws it up this year, Trey Lance might have a little bit more of a prominent role in the team. But honestly, I'm not a Dak aficionado. I'm a Cowboys aficionado. So as long as we can win, that's all I care about.
So if Dak gets benched this year,
that's not going to happen.
If it serves
There's
the
a 0%
team well,
chance that happens.
If Dak gets injured this year,
that's higher likely.
Then now instead of having Cooper Rush, who I don't know, last I checked, did pretty good last year, but apparently
Cooper Flush.
Well, you giving a negative nickname to your backup quarterback?
He's a backup for a reason, Hudson.
He has a better record than Dak does.
Does he though? Does he though?
So I mean, Isaiah, NayNay's clearly excited.
Yeah.
Would you be excited if you were a Cowboys fan if the Browns did this?
Well, for me, I understand his viewpoints, obviously pushing Dak, which I'm cool with. I don't see a way where Trey Lance is going to overtake Dak at any point during the season. If he was good, he would have played.
Yeah.
For the San Francisco 49ers. And the thing that really stinks about Trey Lance is there hasn't been a first-round pick that has been given less of an opportunity. He's played in one NFL game ever.
Yeah.
And then after that, he got hurt. What 3rd overall pick played in one NFL game and then got traded? That's never happened before. They always at least get a season to at least develop. And so for him, he got the rawest of raw end of deals of almost all time of top 10 picks at the quarterback position. And so, I mean, they knew he was going to be a project coming in. They gave him absolutely no chance. I think he's in the right spot to develop behind Dak. And then maybe someday down the line, if he sticks with it, he might be able to get a start.
He might be able to get at least a second string.
Yeah.
Perhaps. I think it's hard. I don't think it's a bad trade. All they gave up was a 4th-round pick.
It's a money trade. You definitely make that trade every time.
Why not take a flyer? You have a quarterback, but maybe he can develop into something. But at the same time, if it was me on the Packers or whatever, would I be getting super excited about acquiring Trey Lance? No, because
you have Jordan Love, and I mean, he is proven about as much as him, so you don't want 2 of them on the same team.
He's actually had more success, I think, than Trey Lance, which is not saying much. So, well, I'm happy for it. If you're happy, I'm happy.
Thank you. I'll be buying the jersey promptly.
You won't hear a show like this anywhere else, and that's probably for the best. The Worst of the Riot, Radio U.
Things just got real exciting for the town of Frisco, Texas, the city of Frisco, Texas. They're going to be one of the first areas in the United States where you'll be able to get Walmart drone delivered to you within half an hour later this year.
Drone?
Yeah.
So you're saying a flying...
A flying drone will deliver Walmart to your house, to wherever you say in this area of Texas. If you're in the right neighborhood, you can get Walmart, an order from Walmart delivered to your house by drone in 30 minutes or less.
That's pretty quick.
That's real fast.
So is that like groceries? and whatnot.
It could be, yeah. They said you could even get eggs or ice cream if you wanted to in less than 30 minutes.
So I'm assuming it has to be one item, right?
It can't be too many. There has to be it's drones. It's got to be a weight limit, right?
You would think so.
There's got to be a weight limit, or you'd have to just, if you have a big order, there'd just be a parade of drones headed your way.
Like 7 drones coming in with little bags at the bottom.
Like your own little army of drones.
That's cool, though.
It
comes in fast.
It is cool. Is there any scenario where you need ice cream delivered that quickly via drone?
What I think is just for the people that order out every time anyway. Like me, I never even DoorDash.
Yeah.
Or Uber Eats or whatever.
Yeah, likewise. I go myself.
But there's people that love doing that. And so they'll take advantage of this next.
Yeah. Imagine the fees. I wonder what the fees have to be. It can't be. You think maybe it's cheaper because you don't have to tip, right?
True.
No tipping, but...
Maybe you're tipping the driver.
The driver of the drone?
Don't you think somebody has a remote control somewhere?
I don't know if somebody... That's a good question. Is somebody...
Or they just GPS it?
Yeah, that's what I think. I feel like there's probably one person in a room that monitors all of the drones, but really, are they controlling it with a joystick?
What a job that would be.
Yeah.
What do you do for work? Oh, I monitor drones for Walmart.
I sit in a room with all the drones on the screen and make sure none of them are crashing, pretty much, is what I do. I'm a drone pilot. Sounds cooler when you say it that way.
Sounds really cool, though.
Yeah.
But at the same time, how long before this turns into the Spider-Man movie?
What do you mean?
With Jake Gyllenhaal?
What does he do with them exactly?
Could these drones go bad? Or, could it drop your food? That's the other thing I'm thinking, too. How likely is it to make it there?
I don't know. I think the technology is supposed to be pretty good to where, even on very windy days with wild conditions, you should still be able to get your order safely. Now, I think one thing that you have to account for personally is, especially thinking in Texas, once the Texas heats up, I don't care how good of a cooler they put that ice cream in, it may not survive the trip. It may be a milkshake by the time it gets to you.
Well, that's why they're bringing it out just now for the fall time.
Oh, yeah, for the fall. Yep, that's right.
That makes sense.
Smart. Well, it is, if you happen to be near Frisco, Texas, that you are going to be lucky enough to get drone delivery from Walmart if you so choose later this year, 30 minutes or less. That's exciting stuff.
Hopefully somebody does it.
Yeah.
Give us a review of it. How does it drop it off at the door? Do you have to pick up the drone? Just set it there? So many questions.
You just heard the worst of the worst. We'd give you the best of the best, but we'd have to find that. As soon as we do, you'll be the first to know.